My name is Edith, and at 73, I never dreamed of red carpets or dazzling spotlights. I only wanted dinner at my son's house. A plate of food, a chair at the table, and a few hours with the family I'd spent decades holding together. I smoothed the navy dress I kept for special nights. It wasn't glamorous, but it was neat enough to keep Marissa, my daughter-in-law, from rolling her eyes. The clock read a little past 6. Dinner was set for 7. Then my phone buzzed. Sliding on my glasses, I expected a reminder from Garrett, maybe a last-minute question about dessert. Instead, the screen burned me with 8 words. You weren't invited. My wife doesn't want you there. No call, no explanation, just a text. At first, I prayed it was a mistake. Maybe Garrett's phone had been hacked. But the number was his. Worse, the tone was his. I sat down, phone trembling in my hand. My heart wasn't just breaking, it was unraveling. Memories hit me like lightning. Garrett clutching my hand on his first day of school. Garrett weeping at 12 when his dog died. Garrett introducing Marissa to me, shining with joy. And now, Garrett, a grown man, casting me aside with a text. I stared at the wall, frozen. No tears, no words, just silence heavy enough to crush me. And in that silence, something shifted inside me. After a lifetime of giving, maybe it was time to stop showing up for people who had made it painfully clear they didn't want me there. The house around me was eerily still. I rose and drifted toward my mother's old secretary desk. Every folder inside was perfectly labeled, every receipt neatly filed. My hand stopped at the thickest one, Garrett. Inside was a history of sacrifice, a $20,000 check for his dream business that collapsed in less than a year, tuition receipts for Marissa's real estate license, transfers for roof repairs, a down payment on their new townhouse, even the kitchen remodel Marissa swore she had to have. Each slip of paper wasn't generosity, it was expectation. My wallet had been their safety net. My name was the invisible ink on every corner of their home. 6 months ago, Garrett had called me, thrilled. "We've found the perfect place, Mom. You'll have your own corner," he said. But apparently that corner didn't come with a seat at the dinner table. I looked at the glossy brochure still on my counter, staged with smiling families. I had given $120,000 toward that down payment. Not a loan, not an investment, a gift. A mother's way of saying, I care. But in truth, I had bought myself out of their lives. Leaning back, I whispered the question I had long buried. Was this love, or just a transaction? For once, I didn't excuse them. I didn't defend their choices. I simply sat in the truth. I had given so long, they no longer even saw it. That night, sleep never came. The words replayed like a cruel chant. Not invited. My wife doesn't want you there. By dawn, I knew. Enough was enough. I brewed strong tea, sat at the kitchen table, and stared at Garrett's folder spread out like evidence in a trial. My hand didn't tremble as I dialed. "Good morning, Fayetteville Community Bank. How may I help you?" A voice answered. "My name is Edith," I said firmly. "I need to suspend all automatic payments from my accounts immediately." A pause. "All payments, ma'am?" "Yes," I replied, steel in my voice. "Every single one. And revoke the power of attorney granted to my son, Garrett Carter." I heard furious typing. "That's a significant change, Mrs. Carter. We'll need your signature, but I can begin suspensions now." "That's what I want." "Start today." The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was electric. For more than 2 decades, I had carried my son, his wife, their bills, their lifestyle. But that morning I remembered James, my late husband, and his warning, "Edith, love them, but don't let them walk on you." When the woman confirmed all 174 payments were officially blocked, I whispered thanks, ended the call, and exhaled a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The weight of lonely holidays, quiet dismissals, and endless bills lifted. That morning I hadn't just canceled payments, I had declared my freedom. My phone buzzed again, Garrett. I didn't answer. Instead, I typed a single message, stared at it for a long moment, and hit send. Time to pay your own way. Then I switched the phone off, the click echoing like a slammed door. By the time Garrett arrived, the kettle was already hissing on the stove. He didn't bother with courtesy. He jabbed the doorbell in that sharp, impatient rhythm that screamed he wasn't here to talk. He was here to take control. I opened the door. He marched inside without waiting for permission. "Mom, what's going on?" His words trembled, but the irritation in his eyes betrayed him. The mortgage bounced. Marissa's car payment didn't go through. The bank called about suspended authorizations. "Did you cancel everything?" I looked straight at him. "Yes, I did." His face drained. "All of it? All 174 transactions?" I nodded. Garrett collapsed into the chair like the air had been stolen from him. "Why?" he whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I met his eyes and said, "You uninvited me from your house, the very house I helped pay for. You sent a message saying your wife didn't want me there, and you didn't even try to stop her. That was a mistake," he stammered. Marissa was upset. "I didn't mean it." "You didn't mean to say it?" I asked, calm but cutting. "Or you didn't mean for there to be consequences?" He looked away. I poured 2 cups of tea, sliding one toward him. He left it untouched. Finally, he muttered, "We have bills, Mom, loans, Toby's tuition, the house. You've always helped us." "I did," I said evenly, but help turned into expectation. Then it turned invisible. He opened his mouth, but I lifted a hand to silence him. "Tell me one thing you've ever done for me, Garrett. Not out of need, not out of duty, just because you wanted to. One thing that didn't involve you taking something." He froze, lips pressed shut. The silence was crushing. But in that silence, I found my answer, and 2 days later, Toby appeared at my door. His shirt wrinkled, eyes sunken with dark circles, his whole body twitching with nerves, the look of someone who'd never faced real consequences. I let him in. He slumped onto the couch, rubbing his hands like a gambler down to his last chip. "Grandma, I need help," he blurted. "My credit card's frozen. I can't pay rent. My car's overdue. I'm in trouble." I sat across from him, calm as stone. "How much?" He squirmed. "About 7,000. "What did you spend it on?" His eyes slid away. "Stuff, a new phone, a trip with friends, a few parties." I nodded slowly. "You've been working 2 years now at the insurance company, haven't you?" "Yeah. So why haven't you learned to manage your money?" He looked less like a grown man and more like a scolded boy. "I just thought I could always ask Mom and Dad. Or you. That's the problem, Toby. You've all counted on me like I'd always swoop in, but I'm not your backup plan. And I'm not your bank." He leaned forward, panic in his eyes. "Grandma, please, just this once. I swear I'll pay you back." "No," I said, voice steady as steel, "but I'll offer you something else." He frowned. "Like what?" "My lawyer, Mr. Whitaker, needs a part-time assistant. Answering phones, organizing files. It won't erase your debt, but it's honest work." His eyes widened. "You'd do that for me?" "I love you," I said gently. "But I'm done enabling you. My love is no longer measured in money." For the first time, I didn't bend. And for the first time, he heard no. Not out of anger, but out of love. Real love doesn't always sound sweet. Sometimes it sounds like a slammed door. Sometimes it feels exactly like a boundary. That evening, a soft knock came at my door. Rebecca stood there, a bag of groceries in her arms. She didn't come for money. She didn't come to plead. She just came to see me. "Grandma," she said gently as I let her in. "I saw Dad earlier." He looked lost. "Mom's furious. Toby's sulking. The house is chaos." I didn't answer right away. We unpacked the groceries together. She chopped vegetables while I set pasta to boil. After a while, she asked quietly, "Are you okay?" I looked at her, really looked. Rebecca had always been different, quieter, thoughtful. She never asked for much. She called on my birthday. She visited without a reason. She hugged me just a little longer. "I'm okay," I said. "For the first time in a long time, I think I'm truly okay." She smiled softly. "Good, because I think you're doing the right thing." I raised an eyebrow. "You do?" She nodded. "I've seen how they use you, especially Mom. Always in the best clothes, driving the best car, living the best life, and somehow it's always you footing the bill." Her words startled me. She wasn't a child anymore. She was a young woman, and she saw things clearly. "You've taken care of everyone for so long. she added. It's time someone took care of you. We sat down to eat, just the two of us. No tension, no manipulation. Just a simple meal and honest conversation. Before she left, she hugged me tight. I'll always be here for you, Grandma. Not for your money, for you. I kissed her cheek. That's all I ever wanted. In a house that once echoed with demands, Rebecca's presence was the only thing that felt real. She reminded me what family should be. Safe, sincere, and free. The next day, Garrett called again. Mom, we need to talk as a family. His voice was tight, rehearsed. I could hear Marissa muttering in the background. Tomorrow at 2, I said. At my house. No surprises. But of course, there were surprises. At exactly 2 o'clock, Garrett arrived first. His shirt was wrinkled, his eyes swollen. Mom, he started. I wanted to talk before everyone else got here. Everyone else? I asked sharply. He hesitated. Marissa. She invited a few people. Her parents, her sister. They're concerned. I stepped to the window and froze. 3 cars had just pulled in. Out swept Marissa in full glamour, flanked by her parents, her siblings, even a couple of friends. I turned to Garrett. You brought an audience? She thinks, he began, but I raised my hand. The bell rang. I opened the door slowly. Good afternoon, Edith, Marissa declared, her voice loud and theatrical. We're here to discuss this situation as a family. This is my home, I said evenly. Not a courtroom, not a boardroom, just my home, and I didn't invite any of them. Garrett, Toby, Rebecca, come in. The rest can wait in their cars or leave. Marissa's smile faltered. She turned to her entourage. Please wait outside. We won't be long. Reluctantly, they retreated. Inside, I faced my son, my daughter-in-law, and my 2 grandchildren. So, I said, calm as stone, who wants to tell me what this circus is really about? Marissa launched into a speech. Your financial decision affects all of us. My parents' retirement, Garrett's brother's situation, even Toby's future. I crossed my arms. When she finally paused, I asked, and when did I become responsible for all of that? No one answered, because deep down they knew. They hadn't come to heal a relationship. They had come to salvage their lifestyle. The room went heavy with silence. Garrett finally spoke, voice low. Mom, we've come to rely on your help. You've always been there. We didn't think you'd stop. Exactly, I said. You didn't think. You just took. I turned to Toby. How many times have you visited me simply because you wanted to? Not because you needed money? He shifted uncomfortably. And Marissa, I said, locking eyes with her. Tell me one thing you've ever done for me. One single thing. Not for money, not for show. Just for me. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Nothing. You see, I continued, what hurts isn't just the money. It's the erasure. The way I disappeared from your hearts the moment I stopped paying. Marissa's mask cracked. Her voice hardened. This is manipulation. You're trying to guilt us. No, I said softly. I'm telling the truth for once. She shot to her feet. You'll regret this. When you're alone, when no one's there, you'll regret pushing us away. I didn't flinch. Family isn't a word we use when we want something. Family is a choice we prove every day, with actions, not invoices. Garrett's eyes shimmered. What do you want us to do, Mom? Apologize? Beg? No, I said. I want you to grow up. Stop confusing love with dependence, and leave. The words were calm, but they landed like thunder. Toby rose without protest. Marissa muttered something under her breath and stormed out. Garrett lingered, unsure. I'll be here, I told him. If you ever want to talk, really talk. Not about money, about us. He nodded slowly and followed them out. Only Rebecca stayed behind. She hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, Grandma, she whispered. I didn't reply. I just held her close, because for the first time in years I had nothing to prove and nothing to give but the truth. 6 months passed. For the first time in decades, I wasn't anyone's emergency contact, anyone's financial plan, anyone's silent sponsor. I was just Edith. I spent mornings on the porch with coffee and books I had long set aside. I walked the park trails where James and I used to stroll. I even joined an art class at the community center, something I'd always wanted but never dared. Rebecca visited often. She never asked for anything. She just came to laugh, to talk, to share her world. She was my only connection to the family now, and it was enough. As for Garrett and Marissa, the calls dwindled. Some apologetic, some demanding. Then nothing. Rebecca later told me they sold the house, downsized to an apartment. Marissa picked up extra work. Garrett finally learned to budget. And Toby, surprisingly, took the job with Mr. Whitaker. I bumped into him once at the grocery store. He looked tired but steadier. We exchanged a quiet hello. That was enough. And me? I finally went to Italy. James's dream. Ours. We'd put it off too long. Rebecca insisted. Do it for you, Grandma. For once, just for you. So I did. Now I sit on a terrace in Tuscany watching the sun dip over rolling vineyards. My oldest friend, Lorene, scribbles in her travel journal beside me. You look lighter, she says. I am, I answer, because I finally laid down the weight of other people's expectations. And in doing so, I found what I'd always wanted, peace. Not just silence, but the presence of self. The strength of someone who no longer needs to be needed to feel whole. That evening, as twilight painted the sky in gold and violet, my phone buzzed. Garrett's name lit the screen. 6 months ago, I would have answered before the second ring, eager, hopeful, ready to fix. But now I simply watched until it faded to black. I didn't need another promise. I didn't need to be dragged back into the cycle I'd finally broken. Instead, I raised my glass of wine to the horizon and whispered to myself, for the version of me who had always come last. The one who smiled through lonely birthdays, who paid bills with shaking hands and called it love. She was gone now. In her place stood a woman who finally understood. Freedom doesn't come from letting go of people. It comes from letting go of permission. I don't owe anyone my money, my time, or a seat at a table where I was never welcome. What I owe now is honesty with myself. Later that night, Rebecca texted me a photo of her new apartment and a simple message. Grandma, I can't wait for you to visit. I made you a room, just yours, always. I smiled. Because sometimes the legacy we leave behind isn't the money we gave, or the houses we built. It's the truth we finally spoke, and the boundary we were brave enough to draw. Like this story? Smash that like button, share it with your friends, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more revenge stories every week.